All right, guys. Another complicated topic. Should you quit your job? I made a video about this a long time ago, so I want to do a kind of like a refresher over here because it's a very difficult question to answer and it all determines on a big what if. What if this, what if that, could have, would have, should have. Anywho, let's dive in. All right, so should you quit your job? There's a couple things to take into consideration. And the first thing is this. When you're looking at a job, for the most part in North America, and I only speak about North America because I only have experience in North America with companies in the job markets. Yeah, I've had businesses in China, but that's a whole different story. I'm talking about what I know, okay? Other places are probably fucking different, maybe they're not. So take this with a grain of salt depending on where you are. I'm speaking for North America. For the most part, a job in North America stands for just over broke. Most people are working in jobs they hate, and that's the reality. Now, the reason why they're in the job they hate is because of a paycheck. Nassim Taleb has a saying, there's the two of the most addictive substances on the planet is A, heroin, number two, B, a salary, right? Obviously. So, things to take into consideration if you are thinking of quitting your job. The first thing to take into consideration is, where the fuck are you going? No, seriously. I made a video about this. I'll put a link in the show notes. And the video talks about making OKRs and KPIs for your life. We have this in companies. We plan out every quarter. We know the quotas we want to hit. We know the metrics we want to hit. We know who's responsible for it. We know how we're going to get there. And then we monitor it from a week to a monthly, then a quarterly basis. There's a plan. And if we fail on this plan, then we ask ourselves why. Who did what? Why didn't do this? There has to be reasons for us not hitting the metrics that we wanted to hit. Most people don't do this for their own life. So no wonder most people aren't getting what they want to get in life because they're not making fucking plans on where they want to go. Like you and I want to build a house. We're not just going to start building a house. We need a fucking blueprint. I need to have instructions on how to design, what materials, the cost, etc., etc. And your life is no different. Your life is a startup. I always say it's your name, Inc. You are a corporation. And it's up to you to design and map out the future of your corporation. So the first thing what you got to do is you got to map out where you want to go in your life. Everybody's different, right? If you're a single person living in a bachelor pad with no kids, that's completely different than your individual taking a salary that has 2 kids and a mortgage. So the choices are different. But both need to audit where they are. Both need to figure out. So the first thing you need to do before you quit your job is audit where you want to go. Once you audit where you want to go, then the second thing you got to ask yourself is the job that you're at. Usually jobs to me are a means to an end. And there's never an end. The end is always a moving target. However, the job is a means to acquire something. It can be money, it can be skills. I prefer skills. Money is renewable. They fucking print money. Look at the Fed. Quantitative easing. Print, nonstop. Skills are difficult to attain, especially with wisdom experience. Money cannot buy experience and wisdom. Nope. It cannot. And so you got to ask yourself, does this job right now currently give me the opportunity to expand my skills and to elevate myself from a commodity? I keep on mentioning the word commodity because when you are a commodity worker, you are easily replaceable because you offer nothing unique. So what you need to do is evolve from a commodity worker to a linchpin worker. Somebody that is so important for the organization, the only thing they can do for you is to give you a raise and to promote you. But to get there, you have to work hard, you have to have skills, and you have to be quite productive at whatever career you have, whatever skill set you're trying to go for. So, going back, looking at the company they're in right now, does this give you an opportunity to expand your skills? Write this list down. Can you do what you like to do? And I'm not talking about running around naked. I'm literally talking about, does it at least give you some options of taking extra courses or or they can put you in a position to grow a little bit more. We talk in terms of like ceilings, right? Does it give you a higher ceiling or a lower ceiling? That's the first thing. Second thing you got to ask yourself is, what type of company are you working for? Is it a company that has good morals, good ethics, Do you love working with your coworkers? Like, what is the environment? Because even if your first even if it checks your first check mark of skill acquisition and becoming a linchpin, if you're going to your work every day miserable as fuck, depressed as fuck, and pulling your hair out of your head, you're not going to gain skills. You're not going to gain skills, and it's no benefit both parties. It's no benefit for you being there. It's not a benefit for the company. So really be honest with yourself. What type of company are you working for? Then number 3, which ties into my original point, my original point that I was talking about is, where are you going? I'll give you an example. Let's say you're making 50K a year doing whatever, and you want to then make 100K, double jump. Okay. How do you get there? How do you actually jump from 50K to 100K? There's a couple things to do. Number 1, you're getting paid 50K because that's what the market dynamics are calling for right now. There's a reason why you can only charge 50K or yield 50K for your salary. Because you don't have the necessary skills or the political clout or the necessary projection within your organization that people view you as somebody to get things done. And so if I was this individual in the 50K position, I would do everything I can to increase my skill set. I mean, go above and beyond. If I'm like, let's say, I don't know, a digital marketer, whatever it may be, I wouldn't just sit there for a paycheck. I would go into everything: Facebook, Google, SEO, banner ads, pay traffic, you name it, conversion rate optimization, split testing, yada, yada, yada. I'll become so great that they can't ignore you. And then they'd be proactive. I would take responsibilities within a company. I would do things that was not asked of me. And then I would be quite demanding. I'd be like, listen, this is what I've done. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm capable of. And then if they don't want to give you a raise, fine. There's other places out there. And to even up the ante, what you can do is like, listen, do side hustles, right? If you've gained all this knowledge, start doing stuff on the side with consulting, building up your portfolio, creating small websites. I'm just giving an example of digital marketing because that's kind of my background. It can be anything. It can be, if you want to be a good accountant. It can be if you want to be a designer. It can be if you want to be a good salesperson. You name it. Like, you can build portfolios on the side. There's nothing stopping you from doing that, working with other companies even for free to build up your testimonials or Rolodex, etc. That builds up your intellectual capital in the workforce, man. You could go to... Listen, there's a reason why fucking headhunters exist. Headhunters hunt the best talent. Like, when companies, and we do it all the time, when we want to find A+ talent, we don't go on job forums. Great people aren't sitting on their couch, twiddling their fucking thumbs and looking for a job. They're getting paid a shit ton of money because they're high producers. One person can produce as much as 4 people. And so headhunters go headhunt them and to squeeze them out of the companies that aren't paying their dues, or if they don't like their companies. There's a whole reason for headhunters. And so if you become so good in your company, trust me, headhunters will come for you. So where do you go from here, right? I've talked about a couple of things. I talked about, does this job give you the option of improving your skills? Do you like working for your company? Have you created a plan? Have you audited your quarter and then so forth, and your KPIs and OKRs? The next thing you can ask yourself is, you have a couple of options, right? Option A, yeah, you can quit your job, but everyone's in a different position. What's your overhead? Rent, kids, mortgage, car, cell phone? Well, if you quit your job, what are you going to do then? And yeah, I can sit here and tell you, go start a fucking startup. I'm going to tell you firsthand. You know how hard a fucking startup is? How many times I failed? How much money I burnt? A lot. And so yeah, you could have maybe 6 to 8 months of runway. However, I love this law. This is Hofstadter's law. It states, if you think it's going to take 3 months, times it by 2. And if you haven't read his book, Gödel, Escher, Bach, read that book. It's a mind fuck. I love it. It goes into fractals, science, like geometry, everything. I try to touch it at least once a year. It's not even a book, man. It's like, it's hard to explain what it is. In fact, they have lectures online if you YouTube it. It's fantastic. And so Hofstadter states, if you think it's going to take 3 months, it's going to take 6 months. So let's say you do want to quit your job right now and you have a runway for 6 months of cash and you do have overhead. How sure are you're going to get back to neutral? Like really, especially if you have all these other obligations and responsibilities that are for other human beings, not your own. And so what I like to do is like do things in parallel, man. Like hustle at your job, build up the skills. That's 9 to 5. Real 5 to 12. You got time. Or even like 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. That 2-3 hours after you, if you are with your family, you got time. Start building your side hustle then. And only when your side hustle is at that level or close enough at that level, then you say, screw this. But I've seen way too many people quit, have a runway, 6 months, go to do a startup, and they think their startup in fucking 6 months is going to bring them back to the same salary they had before. No fucking way, man. Like, that doesn't work that way. Money has to go back in the startup, man. I've rarely seen that. Rarely. Only one time in my life I've seen that within 6 months or back at neutral. Once in my life I've seen that. It's an oddity. They're outliers. And so that's it, man. Like, it's a complicated answer. Should you quit your job? Ideally, you want to be working for yourself. I believe the future is all going to be about piecework. I think it's going to be gig work. I think it's going to be contractors on contractor, peer to peer. Slowly, we're going that way. But you got to build up your skill set. You got to understand where you're going. You got to understand the lifestyle that you want. You got to understand your overhead. And above all, man, above all, my whole message ties into the message I've been telling you throughout my whole videos. You have to be a linchpin. You cannot be a commodity, man. You can't be a fucking Joe Blow schmuck. You can't be a schmuck. Schmucks get fired. Schmucks are replaceable. And there's a saying, if you don't know who the schmuck is in the room, you are the schmuck. That's it, man. Become so good that they cannot ignore you. All right, guys, if you have questions for me, leave a comment below this video. Share this video. Let's get YouTube algorithm going. And also, I wanted to give you a heads up. I've challenged myself. This is my personal challenge for my next quarter within my OKR planning. My objective is to do one video every single day. And I want you guys to keep me up to that. So push me, tell me what kind of videos you want to see, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.